Good Thursday morning, Shockers. My name is Vaughn Sweet, and I am a social services coordinator and advocate for the care team. I am so happy that you guys are here with me today, and I am going to be recapping Module 6, Practicing Acts of Kindness and Generosity. In case you missed it, Tara Hanna did a great video last Thursday afternoon, and I'm just going to hit on some of the main points from her video, and I hope that I'm not too boring and that you enjoy. So again, thank you for being with me this Tuesday morning, and here goes my care talk. So the topic last week that Tara went over, like I said, was practicing acts of kindness and generosity. And in that video, she stated that research shows that when you do things for other people, it makes you feel more happy and more fulfilled. Certainly when we get things, we feel happy, but it's like a whole nother level when you do something for others, especially when it's like totally selfless. And that can, be as simple as holding a door for someone, complimenting someone and saying, hey, wow, I really like your hair or really cool outfit. But making sure you're being genuine about it. Just saying those things and I say those things to everyone, like, yeah, that's nice. But being intentional and genuine with those things that you're saying and when you're being kind. And so this is different from like just that common courtesy in that it's more intentional. And some of that, like I said, like the common courtesy part, we live in a society that is very transactional. Like if I do something for you, what are you going to do for me? And with this episode or this module, if you will, this is about what we do for others with no strings attached. And those are the things, again, that when you do them, like it's this feeling inside, like deep down, that gives you super warm and fuzzies, that just feels so good. And I know sometimes we want kudos sometimes for what we do. Like that's just kind of where we are and how we are as humans. But doing something for someone else and not telling anyone and kind of having it as like your little secret, if you will, is really fun and really fulfilling. Definitely encourage you to try it, and it's part of your assignments and homework for the module. And with that being said, I want to remind you guys that if you complete 8 out of the 11 modules, you will be entered for some really cool prizes. We have not just one, but 2 $500 book scholarships to our WSU bookstore, as well as a few grab bags. So make sure that you are working through these modules, the Shocker Strong Resilience. That way you can get entered to win those prizes. Also, with some of these things, I know like some of it's kind of, maybe kind of new to you, or something you've done before, but now like being really intentional about it. Sometimes these things can cause anxiety. I remember one time I was sitting in church and the woman behind me was singing, and it was so beautiful. It was like angels. I mean, it was gorgeous. And I was like, I want to tell her that she sounds really pretty. And then I'm like, is that weird? And then I'm like, no, I want to tell her. And I kind of did this battle back and forth because I was like, is she going to think I'm weird? But I was like, whatever, I'm going for it. And I told her, I'm like, wow, like you have an amazing singing voice. I really enjoyed listening to you. And the smile on her face like made my day. And so that was really cool. And so sometimes it might be a little weird, a little awkward. But once you get used to doing it and see those reactions, it's so worth it. And then there's nothing awkward or weird about it. Sorry, I'm going through my notes, so bear with me. And with like the practicing acts of kindness and generosity, in many instances, most instances, your time is more precious than what you could buy. or just those little things like telling the woman that she had a beautiful singing voice, or really being genuine when you compliment someone on something that they have done. You know, anyone can go out and purchase things, which not saying that that's a bad thing, because there's a lot of need, especially as we come into this time of year. We're going to be seeing things for food drives and coat drives, toy drives for, kiddos who aren't as fortunate as other kiddos. And doing those things are wonderful. So please, if you can, I encourage you to do those. But our time is so precious. There's only so many hours in a day. And when you go out and serve, like with you, like say you go to the food bank and you pack those boxes that are going to go out to those families. Those things are so incredibly needed because that takes time, that takes people, that takes manpower. When you get all this food that's donated, someone has to pack it. And so, again, a lot of, and we live in a busy society. Like, I get it, I'm busy. And kind of like Tara mentioned in her video, as someone in a helping profession, my whole week is spent helping others. And so we as helpers are sometimes the worst at, volunteering and doing some of those times, because by the end of the week, sometimes we are just exhausted and we just need to debrief and, be with our families or doing things that like recharge us. And so it's just really important that when we can, that we do those things. And whatever you can do is enough. And that's something I need to remind myself, even if it's, working for an hour somewhere at the food bank, or helping sort toys, or whatever that looks like. Something is better than nothing. So keep that in mind, and I'll practice that I preach. And with volunteering or being generous or being kind, like there's no right or wrong. Like it's whatever you can do is good enough. And there's so many opportunities to volunteer. And with that, sometimes you're like, oh my gosh, well, like you're saying all this, but where do I start? Like, I don't even know where to go. WSU has you covered. So student involvement has a community service board, and they have an entire database of local volunteering opportunities. So you can go to wichita.edu/CSB, and there you will have all the opportunities that you could ever imagine, from working with different populations like the elderly, kids. Tara mentioned if you don't want to work inside or outside, there's plenty of opportunities inside. If you don't want to work inside, there's opportunities outside. So that is a great place to start your search for what and where you can go to volunteer. And I think Em is putting it at the bottom of the screen. So thank you, Em. And so, yes, that's a great place to volunteer. Kind of back, like going back a little bit. I know I'm all over the place, so hang with me. One example that Tara gave in her episode last week was with being intentional. So one of her examples was a thank you card. And I'm totally guilty of this, especially, having a daughter and, when she has birthday parties or gets different things, just kind of like writing out like a million generic little thank you cards, like, hey, thanks for the toy. Tinsley really liked it. But trying to be more personal. And so instead of just your super generic, hey, thanks for the gift, you could be like, wow, I really liked that book, or whatever the item was. I love to read. This was wonderful. I can't wait to sit down and do that. And it might even be like looking for a card that's very specific to that person. And I thought this was like a really great example of how to be intentional. It's not hard. It just takes a little bit of time and thought and effort, which is what means the most to that other person. And so keep that in mind. Kindness is free. Generosity doesn't mean that you have to go out and buy things for people. Sometimes it does involve that. I have a friend that every time that they get paid, they treat themselves to Starbucks, which I'm like, cool, great. Like, you worked hard for that money. However, every time that they go to Starbucks on payday, they always buy the whatever the person behind them bought. And I just think that's so cool. They don't make a lot of money, but it makes them feel good to do something. And that person's never really going to know who they are. They're going to know, that person and that vehicle bought me this, but they don't know who they are, what they do, just that they got their order for free. But again, it doesn't have to cost money. It can be a range of things like we've talked about. And also, like, when you do those things for people, like, it takes like the human connection to like that next level. And as humans, like, we want connections with other people, some more than others. But nonetheless, we still want connection. And so when we do things for other people, it forms this connection. Does that mean that like you're going to be best friends? I mean, maybe not. Maybe you'll never see the person again. But it's the feeling that you get inside, that sense of happiness and fulfillment, because no one can make you happy. Like, happiness comes from within you. And so when you do these things, it helps you to feel good. And when you feel good, you do good. And it's just this snowball effect, in like the best kind of snowball effect way, of creating more happiness within you. And like I said, I think kindness is free, which is really awesome because I love free stuff. Let's see here. So, and also one of the things that I want to point out, when you do something like, telling the woman in church that she had a beautiful singing voice, you never know what the person next to you is going through. For all you know, I mean, they're living their best life, everything is fine, but in reality, that person may be doing everything in their power to hold it together. And when you do something kind, it can make someone's day. It can make or break in not like the like huge ultimate way, but it can really help that person. And so I try to live my days being very present, very mindful, and thinking to myself, whether or not that's true, that maybe this person is struggling. We are in a period right now with going through this pandemic. We're coming into colder months, which means some of us are going to be more susceptible to seasonal depression. I know I'm not a fan of it getting darker, and that kind of makes me feel down in the dumps. And so we need to make sure that we aren't just assuming that everyone is perfect, everything is fine. And just being kind people to each other, because right now, more than ever, we need all the kindness that we can get. So keep that in mind. And for the assignments associated with this module, Tara made it a point, some of the other modules, maybe a simple yes or no would be sufficient. But with this module, she really wants you to be more introspective. She wants your answers to the questions and the assignments to be more thoughtful, more robust, more meaningful. And knowing that, it takes like doing things kind of like going out of your comfort zone. It takes time to change. Start small and kind of build off of that. And another thing, in her video that she did, she mentioned the Lady Gaga book, Channel Kindness. So I wanted to put that out there again. I'm hoping to get my hands on one because I really want to read it. It's a collection of stories of kindness and community, but I do want to warn you that some of these stories in there do cover sensitive material. So please be warned. I know that in the book itself, it has a warning in there too that some of the stories may trigger some different emotions in you. So if you're not in a place where you're ready for something like that, then I encourage you to reach out for help. And with that, I'm going to do my shameless care team plug. If you or someone that you know is struggling, whether it's academically or personally, please don't be afraid to reach out to the care team. We are here to help, and we are happy to do so. Sometimes it may be that we connect with that student once, let them know what resources available on and off campus, and we're done. Other times we work with students for a couple weeks, a couple months, like whatever it looks like to make sure that that student is on track um, and has the support that they need in order to be successful academically and personally. And so, again, with everything going on around us, it's tough out there. So please don't hesitate to reach out and ask for help. We are here to do so. It's totally confidential. And so whatever you say stays with us unless there is cause for concern that maybe you are in danger or someone else is in danger. But please don't hesitate to reach out. I know sometimes it can be difficult. It can be weird. You can feel like, maybe, this is a sign of weakness. Totally not. When you reach out and you get the help that you need, whether it's mental health help, academic help, if you have food or home insecurities, someone is there to help you, and there's resources all over the place. You do not have to do this alone, and we are here to help you. So, with my shameless care team plug, that is all that I have for you today. I hope that you enjoyed this short little video and that you were able to follow along with me, even though I bounced all over the place. I hope you guys have a wonderful Tuesday, and I look forward to seeing you in another week or two. Take